Okay, let's get right into it. Today, we're breaking down Andrej Karpathy's framework for understanding a pretty massive shift that's happening in tech right now. We're talking about a fundamental rewrite of what software even is and how we build it. So if you're a founder or an engineer, this is basically the new map you need to navigate what's coming.
I mean, just think about that for a second. For almost 75 years, the basic way we wrote software, it kind of stayed the same. And now, in just the last few years, we've had two seismic shifts back to back. This isn't just some new trend, you know? It's a total paradigm change. And that means there's a huge amount of work to do and a whole lot of software to write and rewrite.
And that's really the critical question, isn't it? The one we're digging into today. How do you actually operate in this new world? What are the new rules of the game, the new tools, and most importantly, the new opportunities? Well, Karpathy lays out a really powerful way to think about all of it.
To really get a handle on where we're going, we first have to understand where we've been. And Karpathy organizes the whole history of software into three really distinct eras, with each one building on top of the last.
All right, so here's the breakdown. Software 1.0, that's the classic code we all know and love, right? Explicit instructions written in languages like Python or C++. Then, Software 2.0 came along with neural nets, where we don't write the instructions directly. Instead, we program the model with data. A classic example is an image recognizer. And now we have Software 3.0. Here, large language models are the new computer, and we program them with natural language. And here's the key takeaway. As a builder today, you really need to be fluent in all three of these paradigms.
So, if LLMs are this new type of computer, what's the right mental model for them? This is where we get to the absolute core of Karpathy's framework. It's not just about what this tech is, but how we should think about using it.
First up, you've got the utility analogy, and it makes some sense, right? You've got these big labs spending a ton of capital to build the grid, and we just tap into that intelligence through an API, paying for what we use. When the big models go down, it feels like an intelligence brownout. I mean, the planet literally gets dumber for a bit.
Then there's the fab analogy. This one captures the huge R&D costs and all the secretive tech that's developing inside these labs, kind of like how Intel or TSMC develops a new chip. But this one isn't a perfect fit either, because software is just way more flexible than hardware. So while both of these analogies have some truth to them, Karpathy says there's a much, much better one.
And here it is. This is Karpathy's key insight. The most powerful, most useful way to think about an LLM is as a new kind of operating system. It's not a simple commodity like electricity, it's a complex, evolving software ecosystem. You've got your closed-source players, like Windows and Mac OS, and you've got your open-source alternatives, like Linux. Sound familiar?
This whole OS analogy gets really concrete when you start mapping out the components. The LLM itself, that's your CPU, the core processor. The context window is its RAM, its short-term working memory. And tools and APIs, those are the peripherals it can connect to. And right now, our main way of talking to this super powerful OS is through a simple text terminal, just like in the good old days of computing.
And this timeline just drives home how incredibly early we are in all of this. The way LLMs work today is a mirror image of the mainframe era from the 1960s. We have these giant centralized computers sitting in the cloud that are so expensive we have to access them through time sharing on APIs. The PC revolution for AI, where all this power gets democratized and put on our own machines, that hasn't happened yet. And that right there is a massive opportunity.
Okay, so we have a new operating system. But let's be honest, it's a weird one. To actually program it well, you have to understand its unique psychology. It's not like any machine we have ever built before.
Karpathy calls it a people spirit, which is just a fantastic term. It's not a person, but because it's trained on all the text humanity has ever written, it acts like a simulator of people. It has this emergent human-like psychology, and that means it has both incredible superpowers and some really bizarre cognitive deficits.
So on one hand, it's got these superpowers, encyclopedic knowledge, and perfect instant recall of everything you've told it inside its context window. But on the other hand, it has serious flaws. It hallucinates facts. Its intelligence is jagged, brilliant one second and making a simple mistake the next. And it has this anterograde amnesia, which means it can't form new long-term memories. Oh, and it's incredibly gullible.
And to make this really tangible, just think about these movie characters. Your new LLM coworker has the perfect factual recall of Rain Man, but like the main character in Memento, its core knowledge is fixed. It can't really learn and absorb new expertise overnight. And just like the character in 51 First Dates, its working memory, that context window, gets wiped clean with every single new session. Understanding this weird dual nature is absolutely the key to working with it.
So, knowing what this new OS is and how it thinks, what should we actually be building with it? This is where we shift from theory to actual product strategy. I love this quote, because it just cuts right to the heart of the immediate opportunity. Forget the fully autonomous robots for a minute. The real value, right now, is in building Iron Man suits, tools that augment and amplify human capability, creating what Karpathy calls partial autonomy products. So the core workflow for these kinds of products is a really tight loop. The AI generates something, a piece of code, a research draft, whatever. Then the human quickly verifies it. The whole goal of a great AI product is to make this generation verification cycle as fast and as frictionless as possible, because the human is still the one in charge.
And this idea leads to a really powerful product design concept, the autonomy slider. A great product should let the user control the level of autonomy. You can start small with simple tab completion, maybe move up to rewriting an entire function, or you could slide it all the way to let it rip on the whole code base. The user stays in control.
Now, let's zoom out, because beyond individual apps, there's a much bigger, decade-long opportunity here. We have to fundamentally rebuild our digital world for a brand new kind of user.
And this is a really profound shift. For decades, we've built the internet for two customers: humans using graphical interfaces and computers using APIs. Now, a third customer's arrived, the agent. It's a computer, yeah, but it thinks kind of like a person, and it needs a whole new kind of interface to the world's information.
Here is a perfect example of that change. Old documentation, written for humans, says click the blue button, something an LLM has no idea how to do. New documentation, for agents, provides a curl command, an explicit, machine-readable action. We basically need to rewrite our websites, our docs, and our services to be legible to this new class of user.
But as we get all excited about this, it's really important to have a final dose of realism. Karpathy tells this story about seeing a perfect self-driving demo way back in 2013 and thinking the problem was basically solved, while 12 years later, it's still not fully done. The lesson is clear. Building real, robust autonomy is a marathon. So when you hear 2025 is the year of agents, you should probably think this is the decade of agents.
So that's the journey ahead of us. The great rewrite is underway. And the work of the next 10 years is to slowly, thoughtfully, and deliberately move that autonomy slider from simple human augmentation toward true, reliable agentic systems. So the only real question left is, where are you going to start building?